Alrighty, absolutely. Welcome back. On the hashtag is still Y in the morning, and as always, let us know where you're watching us. We'd definitely be glad and love to see and hear your feedback on the hashtag once again, Y in the morning. But before we get to the business of the day, there's an interesting highlight here, and I've just seen Larry Madowo post an insight on it. It talks about the East African government introducing a currency note for the East African community named Shiafra. Imagine it's a fake story and it's not true. So according to Larry Madowo, who's just retweeted another tweet on that, says the East African community now, and literally also the East African government, will now have a lot of work to just ensure that integrity and transparency, because this is such a difficult story literally to handle. But the gag is the handle that has posted this story has actually government verification, meaning that blue check mark by X, literally supported by Elon Musk. So I think when it comes to now freedom of speech, there's a lot of argument in there, but I love the fact that X is now advocating for freedom of speech and stories of activism. And speaking of activism today, we are talking about matters GBV, and literally what is it and what does it take to talk about it, especially the conversation surrounding some of these rampant outbreaks of we've seen. In fact, last week there's a video of a young lady. In fact, she's a 19-year-old who was thrown. I don't know if it was thrown, she was thrown, or she threw herself from 10th floor to ground floor, and police are still currently investigating, but a video footage of it shows her and her companion entering into this private facility. I don't know what happened, but we are still waiting for a police report on that one, and definitely I'll be here to fill you in. But joining us today to talk about matters men against GBV, I have two powerful gentlemen. I'm being joined live in the studio by Masinde Stephen. He's a teacher, youth mentor, and a GBV activist. Alongside Kimani Oshira, he's a youth council chairperson from Kiambu, I believe Kiambu County. Karibuni sana, gentlemen. Great to have you guys.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start with you, Masinde. When it comes to this GBV space, and there's so many stories that we've covered recently, there's been a trending hashtag and femicide KE. We've seen outrageous, heartbreaking stories of young girls being murdered, some of them just disappearing and their body parts being found dumped in literally horrified places. So when we have to start this conversation about GBV, where do we start now that you guys, the both of you, have expertise and even a hands-on experience in advocating for matters GBV? Where do we start the conversation?
So first of all, it's not where do we start. We have to understand what is it first. For example, when you talk about femicide, it's just a part. So GBV covers a lot. GBV is gender-based violence. Which gender are we talking about? Is it men or female?
So it cuts across all genders.
Okay, but when you talk about femicide, this killing particularly girls or ladies by a man, not anyone else, not another lady, it is a man. So when you look at our country, that's what is happening.
Right.
That's what it's happening. Ladies are being killed. Why are they being killed?
Yeah, but then why?
So we have to look at the root cause of these killings, the femicide. What is the root cause? So
what is the root cause, according to you?
It depends. It depends. These people, that's why you say GBV is a dynamic thing. It is wide. So it depends. We as men, we have to look at this. I'm killing this person. What will I gain? What is it that is making me to kill this girl?
Yeah.
You know that. Because if it is a co-parenting is what is making you to, maybe the lady says, hey, bro, you are earning 80,000 and I need 40. They say, no, my money is not. Maybe that is what is making more men. Who spare the mimba, then at the same time, you don't have to take care of it. So we as men, when we talk about the causes, mostly it is either family or the relationship. Yeah.
Maybe you can start by defining first GBV, and then we can pick up from the branches of it. Yeah.
Thank you. So GBV is any violence or violence against men or women. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is it. Then femicide, we have said that it is what? It is the killing of women or girls.
Yeah.
Particularly. So that's what we have
narrow it down to gender.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we cannot say we are talking about femicide. They'll say boy child. No, femis girls only. And that's
From the one feminine, female
Yeah.
femicide, right?
Thank you.
And I love the fact that with the help of social media now, some of these things are being narrowed down to the nitty-gritties and
yeah.
giving it voice. Continue.
So when you talk about this, you look at Kenyan. For yesterday, is it yesterday or last week? There's this lady. You have said that she threw herself.
Yeah, the report says.
Yeah, the report says I watched that thing. Then, do you know that the man that was there in the house was stabbed? I think the issue now.
Yeah.
So when you talk about this lady, what made it for her to throw herself? Was it that she threw herself or she was
thrown,
right? So
from your observation and what you feel, your mindset on it, what do you think?
So what I think is there is a root cause of that. Before someone makes a decision of throwing someone out, maybe there is a decision. They went in the apartment. There's a girl, there's a boy. They had their businesses, right? But maybe there was a disagreement. Either a lady or a man never agreed to one of. I think that. So we have, as men, we have to understand and practice the consent. If someone says, highways make, let us say, highways. Let us agree.
No is no.
No is no.
Doesn't
let us not say, no, I'm a man. Unambia nani? Am I telling? Who is a woman before me? I think that. Let us just understand the consent and practice it.
Right.
That one will make us to be sober-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me jump to you, Mr. Ashira. Right? To call him Mr. Ashira? Yeah. Right. So for you, if you, or maybe from some of your past experiences, and you come from Kiambu, and I understand you're very passionate about this and you've done it for quite some time. When it comes to addressing it, for you individually, what are some of the areas you managed to address and also even talked about them? And maybe they were successful, and some of them are still missing gaps, and as much as this guy is trying to say that, why did you kill this young lady?
Thank you for hosting me. I didn't introduce myself. Let me do that kindly. I'm Kimani Washira, the chair Kiambu Youth Council. Kiambu Youth Council is a youth organization that deals with affairs of the youths, built under 3 pillars: social accountability, economic empowerment, and political participation. And under the pillar of the social accountability, that's where we engage in issues to do with GBV and activism.
Right.
As you have clearly stated, I have been actively involved in things to do with GBV since I was in campus. I studied in Meru, and there we helped Meru County government under Kirito's stewardship develop the first ever gender-based violence policy in Kenya. As most of our people might be aware that Meru is where you unaambia mtu nikatie ule, unakata alafu unauliza maswali baadaye. Ruto has been quoted saying that. It is in the public domain.
Is it Meru or Nyeri?
Meru.
Oh.
They are very aggressive.
Right.
And they're also patriarchal.
Yeah.
So there was a need for gender-based violence. Actually, most of the hospitals, the casualties are full of victims of either GBV or violence in general.
Right.
So the campus setting drove me to see the urge and need to address the things that are not addressed in our community.
Yeah.
And it being difficult for a man to talk about some of these things. I later worked with an organization called Men and FGM.
Men and FGM.
That is led by Tony Wemba.
Right.
And that's why I got actively engaged in some of these. We have been able to address some of the GBVs. And GBV, as he said, is broad. It has the violence part of it, physical or emotional. And then and it's generally cuts across all genders.
Right.
But then there are various forms that now we will say that now this is pertaining a certain gender, and now that is separating the two.
Yeah.
Coming back at home in Kiambu after finishing campus, we started engaging and continuing the conversation, and the dynamics are different from Meru in Kiambu, where we find that now Kiambu, we find that the rape cases are high.
Rape.
That is a GBV. And
Rape
then
mostly for women.
For women, and sodomy for young boys.
Right.
Later, or rather when they grow old, our ladies, we are the second leading county in femicide in Kenya, and that has agitated for us to even draft a petition and take it to a call to action petition, appreciating what has been done, but agitating for more to be done by our national government and also the county government
Yes.
Because then, we need to ask ourselves, where did the rain start beating us? And that petition tried to answer those questions.
Yes.
It's also good, before I major into the petition, to mention that I was equally involved in organizing and also mobilizing men to attend the popular demonstration that was happening, or rather
Hashtag end femicide.
End femicide.
Yeah.
They call it demonstration, but we are calling it social accountability.
Right.
Accountability.
Right.
Holding our people
Accountable. Right. Now, let me ask you still again. You mentioned your society, or where you come from, the community is a little bit patriarchal, and the ecosystem or the climate of it has people who that are aggressive, meaning that there's some underlying issues of anger unresolved. But for me, I point it out to mental health issues. And do you believe maybe it's because we are never taught the tools, especially as men, on how to express ourselves and the strategy of clearly approaching things, especially now that most of these are aligned towards the female gender? We are not taught how to, how do I start a clear conversation with a lady who says no, and I have to take that no and go with it. So do you think maybe society needs tools to, approach and navigate that? And especially from where you sit, maybe, what are some of the missing links that you identified in terms of even advocating for it, addressing it, and maybe just ensuring that we spread the awareness?
Thank you very much. You have correctly highlighted that there is a problem with how we have brought up our community. The beginning of the 21st century, we focused so much on empowering the girl child. And we have not informed the boy child how to handle this empowered girl child. We are still using the patriarchal system of raising our boy child since young, that as a man you're not supposed to do this, as a man you're not supposed to do this. And
not go to the kitchen, wash, cook.
And some of these things are things that were done pre-colonial. Yeah. After the colonialism came, we had emergency, things started changing. Yeah. Gender roles, cooking was no longer a gender role. It's a common thing to do.
Even nowadays, like,
because I'm sure
as a bachelor, you're cooking for yourself.
And you're in campus and you're in campus, you cook for yourself. Right. But remember, back then in Ushago, you were told that men should not cook. The question is, who will cook for you at campus, or rather later in life?
Or when you're alone, literally, who cooks for you?
Or when the wife is maybe at... maybe she has just delivered. Who will cook for her? That is the conversation we should be having. Changing the narrative and mindset of both genders at tender age, starting from probably class 6 going to high school, so that the next generation, and that is the gap that is existing, that we have empowered girl child, men and the boy child is not informed how to handle her. That disassociation is what is being reflected today as femicide. And as a community or as an association, we have tried addressing that by doing reach out to boys' schools, especially boys' schools, and also day boarding that is mixed, because we are saying that the people in the society must have this conversation. And also we have been calling into action for highly privileged men to have this conversation. Because if the president talks about it, if the governor talks about it, he will change the narrative about the issue. We are also engaging in social conversations, starting from memes. You know what is driving? We are asking ourselves today, what drives the conversation? We drives with memes and stuff. So we are creating graphics, content, memes, creating awareness, and also changing the narrative and the thoughts of our people. Lastly, mental health is an issue that has resulted to femicide. People will ask, how? And the answer is simple.
How? Interesting question.
If a man suffers from, he does not believe in himself, and he is told no, he'll start asking questions. But then we have not normalized the conversation of no is an answer. And no should be respected. Like
no is a response, just like yes. You've applied for a job, they told you no, yes, process it and go with it.
When you apply for a job, for example, and you are given a no, you don't go banging the door. You leave politely. When a lady tells you no, it's a no. When a gentleman says no, it's a no. Stop trying to bring subsidies into or to change the no, because that is where the problem is coming. Secondly, and for the gentlemen, back to mental health.
Right.
We have not created a support system such that when I'm told I'm rejected, how do I do? We don't have men confessing about success stories. I was rejected. I went maybe for 3 months in the dark. I came back, found somebody better.
Yeah, but it's normal to be told no. I think it also depends with the mental gravitas of the person. How do you process no? Because I understand there's people when they're told no, literally the world is tumbling down for them. And when somebody receives a yes, that's when they feel affirmed. So I also think it's a mental health issue, and maybe let me divert it to you as well so that you have something to say in it.
So Sakwa, Mr. Washira has just said something that has triggered my mind. He has said, when we look at this, charity begins at home. A child sees, what a child sees is more stuck in the mind than what a child hears. So this GBV starts from home. I'm a father. I'm now trying to show masculinity. I'm a man. Showing it before my children. I'm doing it with my wife. Or you have started that. So this young man or young man will grow up knowing that, what am I doing? If a lady cannot talk before me, my dad has been doing it. My grandfather has been doing it. So I come from a community whereby, I'm a lawyer. I come from a community whereby some years back, they say that they cannot educate a lady or a girl. Why? Msichana ataoleka alete ng'ombe. I think that mindset. So if we start and change this one, whereby we come out from the cocoon of the traditions, then this thing of femicide, GBV will never happen.
Yeah. But you know, it's really shocking. It's happening. We're almost ending 21st century. Anyways, it's shocking and heartbreaking that it's happening in the 21st century. But also when you pinpoint to these cases specifically, you realize the first case that brought a lot of massive outrages, the Nigerian ones. The Nigerians ones that I think they abducted or they they tortured and you know, it was just heinous. And then we've had several as well of a lady who went on a date. She was pushed off 7th floor, 10th floor, 15th floor. Now there's another one again here at Thome. But also when you pinpoint once again, they are coming from the same direction. Saidia Thika Road, and especially around the TRM Drive area, and then climate here Nigerians and people who are doing Forex. I'm not saying Forex is a bad thing, but the narratives and some of the things around it, Niwatwa Forex, Nigerians, Kiambu you've mentioned, Nyeri. So why is it that these things are coming from the same direction? And ama hizi za county zingine hazikuangi reported za east side too?
So the thing is, east side, it is maybe they cover mostly. Why? It is a sensitive area.
Oh, it's a sensitive area.
This is a capital, right? Maybe as maybe activists, we have to, you know, for example, what he did during end of the femicide, what happened, I was not there, I know. But when we go deep in the villages, this thing is happening more than what they are covering.
There's something women beating. I think it's an African thing.
Yeah.
There's men who believe a woman should be beaten for her to be sensible.
Thank you. So that's why I was telling you, we have to change that perspective.
Right.
More of village boys, like me, I come from the village. I was about that.
Do you beat?
I don't. Even when a lady, for example, I've been rejected. Nilikataliwa na madem. It's not that akikukataa mpige bare. Why? She has her own opinion. Let us give them time to express themselves, to express their views. I'm telling you, no. It's because of this and this, bro. Don't engage in fight.
She doesn't like you, period.
Yeah.
You're not her type.
You know, there's a lady who told me that. She told me one thing. You're ugly. You know what?
Sheesh.
I told her one thing. I was created ugly so that you were created beautiful so I can see you.
Oh, I love
that. Was the end.
I love the way you took the negativity and threw it back as flowers.
That was the end. That was the end.
For real, that's what you did?
Fought. Yeah.
That's what you did? For sure. Are you sure?
Wallahi bilai.
You swear?
Wallahi bilai.
Swear?
I'm
kidding.
Okay. So, then we talk about this. When we talk about GBV, let us not victim blame, mostly.
Yeah,
let us not blame the
blaming,
victims.
Literally.
For example, we are talking too much about these ladies. Before I went with this lady, she had dressed in a
Because
undecent
they
manner.
usually, in the reports, they
Yeah.
usually ask, and how are you dressed so
Yeah,
that this man
that's the
touched
thing.
you?
Let us not victim blame. For example, when we victim blame, this girl will not be open. She will never. Maybe she has been done this, and then she escaped. She came, they said, Sakwa, you know what? When I share with Sakwa,
Right.
he will start judging me negatively. I see that. So we have to build safe environment for these girls or ladies.
And how do you build safe environments? I think we talked about that in our intro
Yeah.
with my co-host. There's no spaces for speaking out. Even for men, like I pointed out, a man who's been sexually abused, the question would be, are you the one who was sexually abused or you're the one who was abused?
there is
Because people will not believe you. And also it's odd for a man to say, oh, I was raped by who? Later, because you're the man, right? Yeah.
By who, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
one thing, we have to come with the policies. We as youth, we have to. For example, we cannot say that the government should do it. It cannot start
Why
from
not
up.
the government?
Look at this. It is not the government doing it. It is us doing it.
And then we push it to the government?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the bottom line is us to change ourselves. Okay. When I accept it is no, it is no. After accepting that, that's when now we start telling these girls, you know what, if you have a problem, come share. We'll do it together. We are into this together. You know, this girl will feel like, hey, if Masinde can give me a listening or a shoulder to lean on, why not? Should I not open to him? But when a lady comes and say, well, it's a billions ya kwenu.
Yeah.
I think that. Maybe you are married, your wife was just messed up little bit. You know, kitu ya kwanza ushambe bibi yako ama watoto wanakusumbua nasema mnasumbua kama mama yenu. I think that. So we have to change. We have to change that.
Right.
Yeah. Let us just create an environment whereby these ladies have a voice.
Right.
They have a voice to express themselves. Let us not victimize them more.
Yeah.
Let us not make them unsafe.
Right, true, I agree. Mr. Shira, let me come back to you. You've mentioned your community, they're very aggressive. But then you mentioned story in empowerment. Do you believe that empowering the boy child will also help in alleviating these issues? But then also I had a conversation, Andrew Kiba at some point said he feels like society is creating weak men because most of them absent dads, absent mothers. So they come from a background of confusion. Or if the dad and the mom is absent, they don't care about them. So the men that we have today are broken men who don't know what they're doing. Like you're just trying out life. If it works, let it work. But then you don't have the tools of navigating through and even understanding that, hey, as a man, there's some things I need in my life. There's a voice I need to hear as a guiding light. There's a way I need to act and react when I'm in a group of women or in a setup where it's all women. But by the way, in the whole entire world, women are more than men. Like the ratio towards women, men are of a lesser fraction as compared to women. So either way, women will always gravitate towards men because the number is very small. So from what you've observed, what do you think maybe should be done?
Before I come to my observation, there is something he mentioned, and I want to change the narrative, the view. Or the reason why cases within Vika CBD are high.
Yes,
it is the magnitude of how the things are done that are making news. Some of these cases are reported elsewhere, but probably maybe it was she was hanged or maybe suffocated. But the magnitude of how it's done is what is making it news or more trending in Nairobi.
Yeah. So it means there's places it's happening, but it's not being reported.
It is reported, but it does not peak.
Yeah, as the ones
As
in the Kiambu side
yes,
and Thika side.
Yes, because of the magnitude of how things are done. You find that...
Or the act is committed.
Yes, the
act.
mutilations of parts. And also brings the point of probably most of the parts that are missing are exported. So it
like
changes
the heart,
the conversation.
The genitals, etc.
And also about spirituality. Some of those things are used to do spirituality.
So it's cultic.
It's cultic.
Okay.
But then, also, you also need to understand that this region, also, the people here are aware. The ladies will always come out to fight for their rights. Yeah. That brings the agitation. Back to what I have observed in Story Akibe. And beginning with Story Akibe, very true.
Do you believe he's right? Society has weak men?
He's partially right.
Partially right.
Because if you listen to him well, and I'm sure most of the men will disagree and others will agree, he is raising a point, a silent point. And the point is, with the way we are raising our men is not the way the community is shaped. The community is changing, and we are raising a man the way we used to raise him or her, him in a few years back. And then there is the way we are raising the town man and the Ushago man. Totally different.
Also, there's a line between.
There is a line.
A man raised in the rural area and a man raised in the
urban
area.
setting.
Okay.
And
maybe what are some of the differences now
I would
that you've
say
brought
that
it up?
those who are whipped mostly are men from urban, because that is where urban. They are the weak men.
Oh, they're the weak
According to
men. Okay.
Kibe's points, they are the people who have been raised from, most of them, single parenthood.
All right, yeah.
Because remember back the African methods in society raised men. If your dad was not there, either missing by death or he's not there, you are adopted by the uncle, or he will be there for you. But in Nairobi, it's Kabebi, raised by women, according to Kibe. And it makes sense because you don't have a father figure. But that does not also mean that you should be aggressive to any other lady who is equivalent to your mom.
Okay.
Something else that has come to our attentions, especially in the settings of campuses, there is so much expectation for a man that when we get to university, we need to have a girlfriend. And if I'm rejected, and that is
a bad thing or a good thing?
I'll not comment about is it bad or good, because maybe it's of age. But then that narrative is making a lot of men now go to approach ladies without having a need to. Like, you are just approaching because you were told when you go to campus, you need to have a girlfriend. But you were never told why to have that girlfriend. Back to the society, how we are raising our people. And I've seen a text from Dr. Juliet from Kiambu, who is a former CC, and they're with Wajiko Viga, and they are saying that we need to fully restructure the conversation of how our boy child are brought up in our community. Because if we empower informed, we don't have to empower the boy child. We only have to keep him informed.
Keep him informed, not empower. But then what is this empowerment? You know, empowerment this, empowerment that. But also, I noticed most empowerment associations are only for women. I know for Dada, there's one, I don't know, called Dada Sphere.
We cannot finish mentioning.
Yes, there are so many. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but then this empowerment, what is it? What is empowerment, by the way?
I will say that if you look at the things that they do, they keep the girl at par with what is happening in the world. They also provide dignitary packs, because we understand that most of our ladies may have challenges, financial challenges back at home, to maybe especially in primary school when menstruation starts, and it's good to have that conversation as men. They don't have access to such as dignity pack, and then they are forced to do weird things with Buddha guys or a guy who can provide that. So the empowerment comes in maybe providing those dignity pack and informing them. But then as a man, when back to what Kibe said, we have been unable to reach out to our boys' child, our boys. Remember, most of us who grew in Ushago, we grew with torn vinyasas, because we used to, kiasa ya shule ndio unaenda nayo kucheza, unapiga dufu palaro, unapiga, unatereza kidogo, it has patches. Nobody is trying to reach, though it may have changed a bit, but nobody is trying to reach out to that man, to that future man. To that future president or whoever he's going to be. He's raised in a way that he's almost secluded because he's a man. And a man.
Because you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
You are a man.
And eventually, sometimes it's true you figure it out as a man without empowerment. I know so many success stories of men who, literally, if you look at any man who is successful, they always have a sad story. Or, like you mentioned, torn kinyasa, no shoes, never ate 2 meals a day. It was only 1 meal a day. No father, no mother, or I ran away from home. And they're now billionaires, literally. They figured it out, right?
And that's why I say we need to keep the boy child informed about what is happening in the world and also to their fellow ladies. We also need to train them on how to handle this informed lady, because as I said earlier, we are raising somebody to who thinks that he's going to meet a lady who he was raised to. You know, we said that we are raising this young man in a bit traditional way, that a man is not supposed to do this, a man is not supposed to do this. But the
or
lady,
as a man, you're expected to do this and this, or this and that, and when you're not able to, definitely that cuts you away from masculinity and being a man. Right, you're seen as a lesser of a man, less of a man. Wow, let me transfer that. I love second lady Rigathi, Miss Rigathi Gachagua, Pastor Dorcas here, to be specific.
Okay.
Yeah, she's advocating for the rights of the boy child, and like he's poignantly said it. Maybe we need to keep the boy child informed. But do you believe empowering the boy child will make them learn and know how to treat women, so that we never had cases of femicide anymore, especially in Kenya?
Thank you. Before I respond to that, I might just say something about what you have just said.
Briefly, please.
Yeah. So when you talk about these, maybe this thing is happening because of the traditions that we have picked. That's what he has said. I'm just paraphrasing it. The tradition, we have left it. Then when you talk about empowering, he has said we inform them. Let them be aware of what is happening. Because there is that is 2020, during COVID, when I went and we had a campaign, Future with No Violence, that is coaching boys into men, whereby I was talking to slum kids, boys mostly, and we had flashcards. Every day we were to teach them abusive language. So when don't use abusive language against, are you seeing that? So when we inform them, when you abuse a lady, you're doing nothing. Because the Bible even says, we are created in God's own image and likeness. So let us bring these boys. Let us not say, these guys have been given sanitary towels, okay? And boys are being left. Let us look on the ways of...
Boys are being given boxers, by the way.
Thank you. So that's what you have. It's
part
dignitars.
Of it, right?
I have witnessed that with dignitars. There is a group called the dignitars. Right. That's the best group I've ever seen.
They're giving out boxers?
They're even the vests. Are you seeing that? They give out the uniforms from the shoe. Yeah. Then the vest and boxers. They don't say that because we are giving out sanitary towels for ladies, let us leave boys. There's no. Okay. So what we have...
Why are they being given boxers? I'm trying to wonder. Why should somebody give you an innerwear?
An innerwear. So
as
look at
a means
this.
to empower you.
Look at this. Why are ladies being given sanitary towels?
Because they bleed every month.
So,
and it's natural.
A boy also needs a boxer.
Okay.
For example, let me tell you, we have, we talk about the tail, right? They have it. And they're now maturing. They are preteens, whereby there are changes. So will this young man walk without a box and then something happens? Okay?
Which is?
What will happen?
What will happen if he walks without a boxer?
The tail will start itself doing wonders. Are you seeing that? So the boxer will... Yeah.
Boy. Okay, I get it.
So, thank you. Sorry. Right. So we have to talk about it. They have to be given so that they know it is my responsibility to have these. I have to have these because of A, B, C, D.
But for me, I think it's poverty, because if somebody's giving you innerwears to empower you, it means there's so much that needs to be done. That's like the last of the most third world country. If being given a boxer is going to empower you, literally.
So
that's poverty.
We cannot say boxers itself can work. Teach them. Yeah. You know, for example, I have boxers. How many boys will I reach?
Maybe to help him.
Yeah.
The reason why that is done is because when you call ladies and they go back with something, and remember this man might not know what the class 4 or class 5 does not know what the lady was given. He'll feel secluded. So in the spirit of showing them he's also equal, and they are given that dignity back, probably the boxer or even a set, geometrical set.
I'd prefer even
pens.
But then you know the set is given to both genders. Because it's an education necessity, so that he can feel that he was given something that is private to him as a man. It's done that, and then we must also agree that most of the parents, the way we raise, class 4 boy child will only have one boxer for entire week.
From year end.
And also there's like shame when I talk boxer.
It's not
compared
shame.
to a lady, the mother will understand she's going through menses.
We remember that he's observing. And we say that monkey see, monkey do. And we, as a kid, what you see more is what you tend to practice than what you hear.
Yeah,
So when he feels that he's secluded, wasichana wanapeango, he might, that separation and rift might be chaotic later. And maybe, and also I've seen a friend called Faith Rugwasi from Youth Fund. She's saying that this conversation cannot end without mentioning the role of drug and substance abuse in cases of femicide.
Right.
Because you go there with the lady, a man and a lady goes to a club, take shisha, take weed and other drugs, alcohol, name them, even hard drugs. They go to a room. Maybe the lady is not, when they didn't have that conversation, but of what is going to happen in those rooms. And then when a man makes a move
advances
when the lady says no, probably because most of the time they don't take as much as we do, or rather the insecurity in themselves. Maybe we need to do this later when you are sober or stuff. The man, because he's under influence, does things that he may not do when he's sober. And that's
so what you're saying is that in some of these cases, those that have committed these heinous acts committed them out of their sane minds.
Yes, because of they were intoxicated.
Not insane. Not insane. When I'm using this drug, okay, it's not that you're insane. You are using something that you know. So it is what you call the judgment, impaired judgment.
Impaired judgment.
Right. Okay. So this person will have impaired judgment. He cannot judge it. For example, I'm saying, Sakwa, I'm meeting a friend of mine, probably a lady. When you look at this, what is happening, femicide, where is it happening? Where does it start from? It's starting from a club. If you look at all the conversations, it's from the club.
Even from Starlet Wahu, they met.
Thank you.
An event,
he met that, a club, then
Airbnb. Actually, most of them.
It is going there. So when we talk about, because I thank the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, so he was in Kirinyaga, and he said, we have to look at these
stories of illicit brew.
Alcohol and illicit brew. So we have to limit. Also,
actually, they permanently ended sale of alcohol in Kirinyaga.
It's not permanent. They cannot permanently end.
Or they can't permanently end it?
Yeah, they do not end permanently. Why? One of the things they fear is losing taxes. You know, they are creating money for the government, so they cannot end it. What we have just to tell these young people, if you're using it, use
in
it
moderation,
responsibly. Even if when you take a Tusker, okay, it is written, drink responsibly. If you take 2, your mind will be okay. But someone is taking 10 of them.
Yeah, but I also believe like you won't just wake up like today and go to a club and start taking or downing 10 muzingas.
Thank you.
There must be something underlying. It's either you're having fun and celebrating. That's what I believe, my own sentiments. You're celebrating your achievements, or there's something you're trying to hide, or there's something you're fighting and you're trying to find an escape route. So I don't believe like you can just down 2 muzingas and you're normal and you're chilling.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. First, we are saying this one. We are not open to tell a friend what is ailing us.
Yeah.
I think that. If I'm open to you, or I'm open to Ashira, I would just say, Ashira, you know what? I'm going to do this, bro. So how can I come out of it? You know, we are not open. Men wanataka kufikia wanaume.
Because that's how you've been made.
Tunasema kwamba mficha uchi hazai.
Yeah, but it does not apply literally. Like once you say your problems, you'll definitely seek help. You remember what happened to Omosh? They helped him. He came back again saying he needs help, right?
So
was that a demonstration of what happens to men?
No, that's not what happens to men. That was his personal.
So how many men do we have that are going through similar experiences that are silent?
For example, I've worked with people. I live in the slum Kayole, right? So there, you'll get boys, maybe someone, the father died, mother died, you know. This young man, he wakes up and anakwambia nisaidie mbao. Unaona? Unamwangalia unamwambia mbao, that is 20 bob now. Mbao ni bana nataka tu kukula. I think that maybe the child is in Form 1, or a young man is in Form 1, Form 2. That's why I said they are going through. And I've said in future, in future might be tomorrow or next hour, We have to come out and talk about issues as men. Let us not die with them.
But you know, there's a formula and a strategy. I don't believe you can just start screaming right now. Hey,
You cannot
I need
scream.
10,000.
You cannot scream.
Of course, it's
Identify.
reasonable. It's reasonable talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cannot, I cannot just wake up and say, hey, you know what? Mimi, demo amenikataa. Eh?
I've seen it happen on socials. There's last week, there's a guy who went on TikTok, he was crying. I don't know if you saw the video.
Sometimes, we don't know sometimes.
And people sympathize,
Sakwa.
and even they asked for his
I know.
M-Pesa number.
Sakwa,
And he got help.
Sakwa, let me tell you.
Akasaidika. So yeah,
Sakwa,
I
let
think
me
it
tell you.
depends.
I like using
think it
Swahili
depends, yeah.
proverbs. Huwa tunasema kwamba kazi ya mbwa ni nzuri sana. Kazi ya mbwa ni nzuri. Kusaidia kuwinda. Kuwinda, akimaliza kuwinda hivi, akileta kitoweo, wewe unafukuza mbwa. So the guy, was it literally asking for help or looking for money?
I think he was looking for help, the way he was heartbroken. I think it depends with processing some of these things. Yeah. Right.
Is a problem
Exactly.
solved.
That's what I
But
believe. I believe so.
secondly,
Yeah.
the reason why we're having this conversation about sharing is
Yeah.
because we have not created safe spaces.
Spaces to share, yeah.
And
And is it bad to talk about it?
it is not. But there is little information of even the existing safe spaces. For instance, I know people called Mopostma. They do online webinars every week.
Yeah.
They advise you to create a fake Google account so that you can join with a fake name.
So to just hide your...
To hide your identity.
Right.
You can come, vent, speak out, have people who will also, maybe if you need professional counseling, they're also going to link you up with a professional counselor who will never know who you are. You'll attend those sessions online for free.
And
but
get
this
help.
information may not be available or is not available in the social media.
Also,
or,
not everyone is online
Yeah.
or on TikTok or Facebook and Instagram.
And the conversation should be, how do we ensure that the already existing safe houses or safe spaces are utilized utmost? And then how can we create more? We should be thinking about, should we be thinking about a policy making it mandatory for every health center, starting from the dispensary, back at Kwaregi village. That is a very remote village in Kiambu that has a trained psychiatrist, they're called what?
Psychiatrists or psychologists.
Yes. And all other structure that is required to help our people. We should be talking about how can we create those safe spaces, but not shaming those who are coming up. We know that people will always take advantage. In Kenya, outside Kenya, we always take advantage of systems. But how can we make sure that those who are in their need of help can reach out? We should also think about, as a requirement for our pastors, they can be the first people to, and religious leaders that cast across both the denominations and religion. Imams, can we train some of them to be, to do this counseling for our people? So that we can have safe spaces within our community where everybody can be able to reach out, regardless of are they saved or not, are they Christians or Muslims. We should create safe spaces, and some of these spaces will also help in addressing a lot of underlying issues, because all these issues to do with GBV go back to mental health. And when our society and our community are mentally well, we address a lot of issues. You'll find that a boda guy driving, but akili yake haiko kwa barabara, juu kuna issues zake, zinazokuja kwa mental health yake. He'll kick your car, utamgonga juu hangari barabara. We can be able to, if we are able to invest in safe spaces and have trained professions, volunteers maybe, and others to support those trained professions, then I think we can solve around 20 to 30% of problems that are rotating around our tables, because generally that will go a long way in even improving our economy, because people will become more productive.
Yeah, and when you flip the coin, GBV, men are also being beaten, abused, and killed.
Yes.
But the shared part is, of course, women, because they are massively vulnerable. So how do you encourage men to come out and say, hey, manzeni kona bibi na nanipige ile mbaya? But when you look at the narratives that have been coined on that, is that tumekaliwa kama chapati, as a man, you should already, like, the nature, because you're a man, you already have a voice, but it's not always that you always have a voice as a man. So how can we also create that gap so that we help men that are being beaten and also killed? And most of the cases reported are very few, even the rape cases. So remember there's this activist dude, Anajita Wino Ama Otieno. He came out and said he was sexually harassed or abused by a lady, and everybody turned in on him. They were like, you enjoyed it, definitely. Yes, you enjoyed it. Stop lying to us and don't even talk about it. How is it possible to do that?
One thing that we need to start doing is educate the duty bearers. Where do you report when this happens? In a police station. If you find in the gender desk, and that has been done, and we have various police stations with the gender desk, but you find somebody who is talking the way he wants or has his own issues and victim shame, you will go to more depression than you were. So the first thing is we need to educate, train our duty bearers. Secondly, change the conversation about in our community, because these things are happening. Mwanaume anapigwa huko na bibi, girlfriend anaenda krabu, anapiga kijana kofi, and if you get aggressive, you'll be on the receiving end. So we need to change have that conversation that it is right to speak up, because silence kills. Secondly, where do you speak up to? That is the next stage. The duty bearers. Thirdly, we also that goes back to creating safe spaces. Like the way in the American, you see when somebody is recovering from drug, there are the AA's meetings. We need to have such meetings within our community.
Rehabilitation centers, wellness centers, etc.
Before even go to rehabilitation, we start with the small AA meetings. Yeah. You know, you have been abused, he has been abused. You can meet, give each other, talk about it. Maybe when we say that speaking up is solving the problem halfway. Yeah. And then he'll give his account and you say, and if he's doing well, then I must also progress.
Yeah, Masinde, we are finalizing on that. If you were to react on that, on a man being beaten by the wife, the question is, uko kwa hiyo kikao kama wewe sasa, uko kwa kikao ya maboys pale umekaa, ndani unasema, bibi ananichapa ile mbaya sana. Yeah, I don't know if you were to imagine the reaction from your fellow men in the kikao.
I know, if the reaction will depend, are these people sensitized? Okay, so you have to go and air out your views according to the setting, the environment. Is the environment safe? Is the environment safe, right? Are these people sensitized about that? Then I would like to say that if we see that duty bearers, for example, there's a time I went to Soweto police station. Then I met a lady. I was talking about, there is a girl who was maybe harassed by a teacher, right? Then the girl was going to report. This lady said, "Nini walimu wanaume? Munapenda kushikashika watoto wasichana." Are you seeing that? Then you have just gone telling her politely. So the duty bearer is the one first to be educated on how to handle this matter. Yeah. If we do that, everything will be fine. So also the government should come out and also make these young people know they are important. Because we are talking about women rape. Women rape, it's totally for ladies. No, are you seeing that?
Does that become a threat to the men?
Yeah. No. Because why? Let me tell you one thing. These people, when we are created same, equally, why are we saying ladies first? So that one, we are creating negativity. Negativity in this man, saying I'm superior than a lady. She has to be assisted. Another thing, two-third gender in the parliament. It is okay. It is okay for it. But how are they bringing it?
Right.
You could say to that gender for ladies, we have youth, 2 seats, right? Then these youth, we have female and male. I talk about that.
All right, let me just pull the feedback very fast because we are exiting. Willie Bazu anasema good morning from Kitale, Birunda. And by the way, I'll come to you shortly and you'll just give us your parting shot. JJ Ozengo, because we are out of time. Mombasani following, and then Wasu anasema kuna hii tribe inatumia jina ladies unapata njerini mwanaume. I do have a friend, by the way, mwenye anajitoa Wanjiru. All right, Jeff Dibo anasema Val hiyo I've seen you. Okay, Deno and Sururu anasema all the way from Kapkelei, Sotik, Bomet County, and then Edgar Handsome on Nyahururu, I believe so. Nyahururu tuned in. Okay, thank you for that. I think that's what's up. More feedback? All right, cool. Continue talking to us. We'll definitely be sampling their feedback offline. We have to go in less than 30 seconds. Where can people find you on social media? Like we are done.
Thank you very much. I'm
where
Kimani
can
Washira.
people find you on social media?
I'm Kimani Washira in all social media handles.
Yeah.
And if you allow me, let me say hi to my mentor, that is Wanjiko Biga, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Steven, and all the people we work with. And lastly, let me shout out to the Office of the Government Spokesperson, led by Isaac Maura.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You can find me on Facebook, that is Masinde Junior. On Instagram, Masinde. And TikTok, Jifunze Kiswahili. And then let me just shout out to my boss, that's Madam Emily Alum, the husband, Mr. Raphael, my dad, and my best sister. She was having birthday yesterday, Nancy Masinde. Even if it's late, but her birthday is, then otherwise, hope this thing will end forever.
Waluya na salamu, lazima ungesalimia watu wa home, lakini that's all right, thank you. And you guys, I appreciate you, and I hope this conversation will continue. We can't end this conversation, it's endless, literally. Yes.
No matter the economic jungle,
right.
You should not eat grass, not because you're proud, but because of who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
If she says no, let it be a no, and it's respected.
Okay.
And also, otherwise, if the man says no, our ladies respect it is a no. Don't try to change it. Thank you very much.
So, we have overrun it, so we can't continue. Thank you guys for coming through. My name is Brian Sanko. We'll see you tomorrow for Innovations and Entrepreneurship Tuesday. Enjoy your Monday.